Let's do this. It's a best of 3. TVP. In the top left is the red Terror, and it is INnoVation. In the bottom right, as the pink Protoss, it is Zest. Zest is best. He's doing a zesty thing. Zesty boy. Recently watched his Super Tournament performance because I am just that late on watching things, I guess. And me sad. Me so sad. Zest is quite good at PvP. It's still his best matchup. I think there's been very few times it hasn't been his literal best matchup, like score-wise. And then maybe way back in the day, he had better PvT. I'm talking like 5 years ago, though, at this point. Well, 4 years ago, maybe. Anyways. But yeah, PvP's always been his jam. And then PvT has his ups and downs. Again, a long time ago, maybe being one of the best at it. And then I don't think he's had that title for a very long time. And then his PvZ was almost always his weakness. It's always, almost always the lackluster one at the very least. The one that's kind of like, yeah, you know, it was okay, it wasn't great. Or just straight up bad. There was actually a time about 3 years ago, I want to say, 2 or 3 years ago, where Zest kind of looked like he was quitting StarCraft. Like, it looked like he wasn't practicing anymore. And I think he even talked about that on one of his signature series. About he was kind of adapting to like the non-Kespa lifestyle and whatever. By the way, I'm like totally throwing out the years here randomly because my concept of StarCraft 2 time is basically like, was it before or after Kespa was disbanded? And I keep thinking Kespa disbanded a long, long time ago, when really Kespa team disbanded in like 2015, which doesn't sound that long ago, but it really was a long time ago. Oh my god, it doesn't feel like it's 2019, guys. It doesn't feel like 9 years of StarCraft, but then other times it does. So. Anyways, but Zest is back to, or still again, bright PvP, even though he lost Super Tournament. Spoiler alert. His PvT is generally okay. He does have some, I think, really cool things about PvT, so even when it's not super great, I'm still like, oh yeah, Zest TVP, let's do this. But I am thinking that INnoVation takes this one. Actually, I think I do know who takes this, because I literally looked at the bracket, but apparently I'm like a fish, and I already forgot. Anyways. But I'm thinking INnoVation takes this one. Which might sound opposite of what people expect, because, you know, TVP, lol, but INnoVation has shown some genius occasionally in the matchup, and otherwise just some really solid macro, as you would expect in the matchup, so. This starts off with Zest being aggressive. He did start with the Semrex core, then Nexus, and a forward gateway. So despite having that 3-second delay on Adepts now, thanks to that patch a while ago, it's still... right? Like, INnoVation, if you watch his stream, has been like SCV scouting Protoss every single game, though, I believe. And this time, he just went ahead and put the command center on the high ground, so. No need to worry about that harassment. Not really. Just controls these units as well as possible and make sure to keep the Widowmine alive, and there you go. Easy peasy. Adept dies, Stalker gets injured, and second Stalker isn't really enough to do anything. Zest follows us up with Blink. If there's one thing that's been rather consistent about Zest in the last 4 years, yeah? Legacy of the Void, let's say. It's that he's really always been the one to go to Blink first, even when it wasn't the popular thing to do. It definitely was a popular thing to do recently. It was popular when 4.0 came out, and he dominated, like, in that Home Story Cup 2 years ago at this point, right? Maybe it was last year, actually. Well, it was technically a year and a half ago. But he almost always goes for that Twilight Council first and really plays around with Blink. So it was like one part Protoss was kind of broken at 4.0. Remember that was the big change, the shield battery introduced and whatnot. It was, you know, Stalkers were good. It was also that he was already just so damn good with the style. So I try to play like Zest and then I fail because I'm not that great. But luckily, it's not all Stalkers. We do have the Robo Down Observer being pumped out, but not in the right direction to catch this Banshee, which Zest does not know about, by the way. Limited scouting here. This Blink might give you some aggression. If you want to play a little risky, it can also give you some nice defense. You can track a oncoming early Marine tank push, for instance, something along those lines. It does not give you detection. So You know, the Robo would have been maybe a little mistimed if the Banshee could have immediately gone to the main, but even, actually, I don't even think it would have been. It would have been perfectly timed. And in this case, it went around the block, decided it's not worth it to dive deep into that natural. Stalkers are already chasing me, already hunting me, and tries to leave, but really nicely done there by Zest. Oh my god, he tracked the Banshees with the Observer and let the Stalkers follow up. And once he figured it was Banshees, it was kind of free reign. Oh, but free reign. Wow, I really can't say that. It was free reign to try and chase them. Once you know that both of them together, they're both underneath the gaze of an observer, hells yeah. Get back out on that map, do something. This kind of, I think, foils INnoVation's plan a little bit. Those Banshees aren't just supposed to do more damage for the investment you put into them. Oh my god, he does it again. Oh my god, is he map hacking? I think Zest is map hacking, guys. I think he's cheating. Oh my god. These Banshees are actually doing not at all what they're supposed to. Anyways, they're not just not getting probes, or any units really, they're also not keeping the Stalkers on Zest's side of the map. So his third base, I'm kind of even surprised it gets up and running, and INnoVation gets quite fortunate with, I guess, the timing and the positioning of his tanks. At least the Stalkers did have to take time to tear down those Banshees, right, as opposed to immediately jumping on top of unsieged tanks. So his third, luckily for him, still gets up and running, which was, in my opinion, the big question mark. And also, a big question mark is if he was going to go into mech or not, but the second factory was already finished. I just was paying attention to the awesome Blink Stalker movements of Zest. And the third factory is on the way. Going into the Cyclone mech that we saw Maru do, we were incredibly blessed to see both types of mech, and mech in general, against Protoss in the Super Tournament. But the Cyclone mech was one person's preference, the tank style was another person's preference. What are some of the Korean players like in person? You had much of a chance to talk to INnoVation or Zest? Yeah, I mean, I've had as much of a chance as I could to talk to someone who doesn't speak that much English. I think, like, Hajin will be able to tell you exactly what the personalities are like, but Zest is very nice. He kind of notoriously got really drunk at the Home Story Cup. I think that he won. And since then was a little shy about drinking a lot. So I think the next time I saw him, he was, he drank like 2 drinks and was like, no, I'm okay, I'm gonna go home. INnoVation is quiet. I think he, you know, just, yeah, you have to speak Korean to get him to come out of his shell. Sue is really fun. Sue actually tries to learn English and is actually pretty decent at it. I think he understands, right, quite a bit. Certainly more than he can speak, but he also speaks a decent amount. And he's also just a lot of fun at parties. SOS is a guy that quickly give him a couple of drinks and he is willing to dance like a fiend. So despite hating him for defeating Jaedong, I actually love him as a person. Leenock is also, he knows a lot of English, very talkative, very personable, and he also likes to, he can partay, the best of them. And Parting also can speak a decent amount of English, but he mostly learned like curse words and slang. So as much as you can have a conversation with someone who speaks entirely in that. And he, not surprisingly, I'm guessing for you guys, he likes to drink and he will force other people to drink. The famous story I like to tell, at least if you talk to me anyways, my famous parting story is that we were all eating and drinking chicken and beer, and we all got soju after, because that's what you do in Korea. And he's like, 1 shot, all soju bottle. And he literally meant to like non-stop, just like chug the entire soju bottle. And soju, for those of you who don't know, is kind of like vodka. Very close to it. And because we were already kind of drunk, me and Rapid actually did down a bottle each of soju, and Parting didn't do it. He just watched us and went, oh. And then he refused to do it. Anyways, those are my stories from Korean players. And that bought enough time for the attack. Zest has been gathering up a storm. At the same time, INnoVation's been trying to reach that critical number of mech units, and it's actually collided together. Not too bad of a fashion for INnoVation. Initially, that looked very scary, especially since INnoVation didn't realize the attack was coming. But that didn't turn out so bad. His tank's out in a position just in the nick of time. Uh-oh. Oh, that weapon's gonna go down. And a lot of his cyclones ended up surviving here, so they will be able to kite a lot of these units. Their lock-on is going to do a ton of damage with the upgrade, although they do not have any base upgrades. They are on 0-0. And I guess all Zest needed was a couple more warp-ins. And he tears down INnoVation's defense, tearing down the 4th base plus 21 SCVs. And with his own 4th base up and running, I think Zest has done it. He's going to get this game. GG. I mean, considering how that started, that's not that surprising. Zest just, like, fucking slapped the shit out of a Banshee opener and was like, no. And even though I'll give credit to INnoVation for, like, still saving his 3rd and expanding and doing his thing, it was always going to be tough. And then on top of that, I was really surprised not to see a planetary at the 4th. I feel like that could have been a big deal. But oh well. Oh well. Why am I such a fucking savage? What did I say? What did I do? Conspicuously did not mention her own partying habits? Didn't I, though? I mean, by way of me knowing all of their partying, what do you think I was doing? I wasn't just watching creepily from the sidelines. Being like, I'm gonna tell this to my stream later. See how partying mostly just knows swear words in English. Oh, yeah. Well, to be fair, this was a year and a half ago, and I will hold to it that that was most of his vocabulary. It's probably different now that he's been streaming and learning English for the stream, I guess. Well, then I called him out on not downing an entire bottle of soju like he made us do. Which was very rude of him, by the way. Have you not watched partying on stream? I don't personally, so that's why I was giving him the benefit of the doubt, but I think... Yeah, it's like mostly cursing, so. Yeah. That was also the first night, the first time that I had met No Regret's girlfriend. It was also kind of the first time that I really hung out with No Regret. Yeah, and that was a party. Oops. Mama Chicken is amazing if you guys ever go to Korea. Chicken and beer. So good. Okay, let's get into the next game here. It is game number 2 on Kairos Junction. In the bottom right is the blue Terran. It's INnoVation. In the top left is the pink Protoss. It is Zest. I didn't think you were being mean. I just was legitimately curious what I was being savage about. I'm not mean to Ravi. And if I am mean to him, it's because he's mean to me. He may not be as direct as us to him, but make no mistake, Ravi is mean to us. Whether it's not lifting depots or refusing to stop making puns after many attempts to ask him to stop. Please no, please stop, not again. Trying to think of the last time I actually was like on WCS Challenger. I was like, Ravi, you're stupid. In fact, I've been rather nice to him in the last WCS Challenger events. Or, well, I guess it was winter, actually. It was earlier this year, but let's be real, they're very similar. SCV Scout, as I said, INnoVation has been doing this like every single TVP, which I'm kind of surprised. It's almost like a delayed reaction in my mind, where Terrans were still kind of refusing to SCV Scout, even when the Adept, the Forward Gateway Adept thing was super popular. They were still like, nah. But now we have INnoVation. Still, when aggressive Protoss is still popular, I'm not saying it's that weird. I'm surprised he wasn't always doing this. It seems kind of like a recent trend in the last couple of months, as opposed to the last 6 months. Anyways. So the SCV Scout even gets out alive. Way to go, buddy. Scouts, nothing needs to be too worried about. Command center on location. Bunker is going to be put down, though. It is Kairos Junction, so there's no ramp leading to that natural. And because the SCV Scout got like a pretty damn good scout, right? Stayed in for about as long as possible. I guess doesn't feel the immediate need to send out the Reaper. As long as it sees a Nexus and not like a second gateway being put down or something, right? Then the Reaper can hold off on getting that follow-up scout. These are awesome games. Well, that everyone knows I'm casting Zest for INnoVation. It's, a little bit of a treat for anyone who actually was like, wow, ZombieGrub streaming. I'm actually gonna click that. Seems like he sometimes tries to push buttons and casts. Oh, Ravi? No, it's like his defense mechanism when he gets in control is to make puns. You know how like some fish have like a puffer fish, they puff up and they put out spikes? Yeah, Ravi's mechanism is to just make puns. And it doesn't just like deflect the aggressive in control fish, it also confuses him. So, Stargate opener. I touched on last game how Zest is like actually a lot of times Twilight Council opener, but this time it's Stargate, but scouted by INnoVation's Reaper. As Marines in position with a Viking on the way. He was able to scout that kind of in the nick of time to not start anything else from that starport. Also has a Widow Mine, but where? Ooh, I didn't even see it. You sneaky boy. And INnoVation is once again going to be going with this mech style. I think it's kind of like the same ability to last game, but maybe a little bit faster, actually, on the Cyclone upgrade. Okay. Second Viking is on the way. Now, this might look like an overreaction to Oracles, because he's going to have a decent number of Marines. He's going to have a Widowmine. He's going to have a Cyclone. Like, all these things shoot up against Oracles, which aren't really even that scary to begin with against SCVs. I'm thinking it actually could be offensive. Well, there you go. I said I thought it, and then it happened. He's actually moving out with this army. It's not incredibly large. Actually, there's 3 Oracles. Damn. But, oh, he didn't get the Cyclone. Oh my god, oh my god, oh my god. Wow, he didn't get the Cyclone, and he lost an Oracle. And the Cyclone's so close to home, just like come back, yeah, and repair it. Anyways, it could be offensive. Like, Vikings on the ground, or against someone who is trying to defend with Stargates, right? They're either going multiple Oracles, which is what Zest was doing, or they go into a Phoenix or 2. You got 3 Vikings shooting at that, and they're going to have to drop whatever they picked up, which is usually a Cyclone, right? So we are seeing a move out. Some SCVs have been pulled. Another Oracle goes down, so no stasis traps, no additional pulsar beam damage. And you don't really want to remake that either, as it is a hefty sum of gas money, especially. Zest is not at all prepared for this. These stalkers are caught in the middle of the map. 2 of them lose their lives, and that's not much army left over after all of this. The third Nexus was pretty greedy, all things considered. Still producing probes, because really he's not limited by his minerals, he's limited by his production and his gas. Gas might look the worst here, but it's also a lot about only having 3 gateways with production. Stargate is not very helpful anymore. This is an easy victory for INnoVation. Easy peasy lemon squeezy. Even if there were 3 more stalkers and 3 oracles, probably not have been enough. All I could read right there is Zest doing a very typical Korean thing and saying, "No, really?" He went, that's what Jinja. That's all I got. That's all the Korean translation I can give to you guys. I think Wants might be a little drunk. So just take what he's typing there with a grain of salt. Ooh, KSL's on the night. Anyone here read Korean? I can read it, and I can translate some of it. I just can't translate all of it. Alright, maybe if I took some more time to read what the Hangul was, because a lot of the time they do use loanwords. But I do know he said, no, really? In a very friendly manner as well. There's 3 different ways to say no in Korean. All depending on how friendly you are with your friend, the person you're with. There's also like 3 different ways to say yes, and so on and so forth. Honorifics, man, what even? Just calling everyone dude, alright? It's the American thing to do. Alright, in the top right as the pink Protoss, it is Zest. In the bottom left is the red Terran, it is INnoVation. Broski is my favorite American honorific, personally. You know, I've never used broski in any way except to tell someone to chill out. I've never upgraded a friend to broski, but I have upgraded someone going catastrophic in chat to a... Dude, broski, come on. Broski, just chillax. Dude is very versatile, you know? He's dude. She's dude. We're all dudes. I'm a dude. TLO's a dude. Thank you, TLO, for that great, massive host. Welcome, all TLO viewers. As you can see, this is not me playing, or if I could convince you that it is, maybe I'll try. They are casting some Alima League replays, and we are into Game 3 of Zest vs. INnoVation, a game not cast in this week's Alima League, but is still available for casting and content producing if you would like to do so. All you gotta do is fork over some cash to patreon.com/holymoly. And by some cash, I mean like literally $5, something like that. Yeah. Yeah. How about bruh? Yeah, I do bruh sometimes. If I'm like confused by someone's trolling. Bruh? What are you doing? Bruh? But I don't think I've ever looked at a friend and been like, bruh. ZombieGrub's INnoVation. Well, I play about as standard as INnoVation usually does. But guess what, guys? Mech is not a trend. It's here to stay. Well, for a little while longer anyways. INnoVation has been doing mech in every game so far. And I wonder if we'll do it again. SCV Scout gets in there and gets out. Reaper now in there and gets out. He didn't bother really sending in a Reaper forward last game until he knew it would be around the time a Stargate would be put down. But this game, he immediately follows the SCV Scout up. No bunker either. I guess not feeling like Zest is going to be aggressive. And typical 1-1-1 follow-up as well. The Adepts are being aggressive, though. I guess Adept plus Stalker, actually. The Reaper is going to get into the natural, see no probes, and then possibly get into the main base. So the no probes thing isn't because, like, he doesn't have probes to send to the natural. It's that he knows there's not going to be any units to defend against the Reaper. So keep him all in the main. INnoVation, if he does go to the main, that's when the units pops out anyways, right? So, very cheeky. INnoVation was so safe last game against something exactly like this by building that bunker, by keeping the Reaper at home for as long as he did. And instead, this game is when Zest goes, you know what? I am going to be aggressive. I am going to go across the map. Possibly because he saw the Reaper was here to try and get some probe damage. Perhaps they're really reading into each other that much. And he's going to grab a couple SCVs, a couple Marines, and almost grabs that mule. At the very least, gets it off of mining for some time, which is always nice. What am I is going to be the hard stop there as Zest isn't really committed to this. And he's back home macroing, giving up those probes to each base and getting into blink. the robo, extra gateway, yeah, that's just what does it. I hate mech with all of my 3945 MMR. Mech. Are you Zerg or Protoss? Because if you're Zerg, I understand. If you're Protoss, yeah, just make more Immortals. I can tell you what was talking about the game before. Oh, did you Google Translate? Zest said you're so lucky. INnoVation said crank when he called Zest and asked him if it was really Zest playing. Oh, it's translated by Ola Miller during the broadcast. Ah, okay.
New subscription received. Class 2
okay.
access granted. Enjoy your stay.
But he definitely also said, no, really? Come on. Thank you, Tool SC2, for the tier 1 sub. Look, Borsty, I'm gonna take my little Korean translation where I can get it. Wouldn't mind dropping to the natural. Show better won't help against that. No. Okay, well, I just immediately pulls the probes. INnoVation's gonna try his luck on the main base. This Wouldn't mind is not gonna get a shot off. This one is going to, yes, get a shot off. Uh-oh, SpaghettiOs. Ipsy pips. Silly Zest. I don't know what he was thinking, actually. 2 stalkers do not 2-shot a Widow Mine. 3 do. I'm thinking. I mean, it was pretty close. As if I play Protoss, I have to worry about this all the time, but I guess I play Terran and I have to worry about them being killed all the time. But anyways, that was a miscalculation on Zest's part. I guess maybe he thought the Widow Mine wouldn't burrow immediately or something along those lines, but he loses 6 probes. Awkward blink out of there through 3 probes, not even mining, so really he lost 9, am I right? Charge follow up with a forge, but things not as neat and crisp and clean as they should be, but his ass is looking for a big ol' attack with his stalkers. Only 1 Marine in that bunker and 1 tank. If he knew that... Never mind. If he knew that, he shouldn't have moved in, because I was like, that can't be all of INnoVation's army. Like, he's a better macro than I am. Come on now. And it wasn't. So he was searching for an observer on the high ground, waiting for the blink up. So it's just a matter of repositioning here, and the stalkers are much better off not blinking into that. I mean, technically, if they had immediately blinked in, I guess they could have gotten a tank and gotten out, but that would have been a very bold thing to do. So, no chance to go do any blink harassment shenanigans. Even if there was an observer, there's a Raven. You could hallucinate a unit and sacrifice it, right? But considering how well defended INnoVation looks to be, that would not be worth it. Now a 3rd tank is out. INnoVation, as soon as more people come in to watch, decides not to go for mech. Sorry, guys. We have regular old bio. Pretty immediate follow-up of a medevac. It's something, right? It'll have stim and combat chills and +1, but only 8 Marines. Like, it's not the biggest deal. But it is something, and it's keeping tabs on Zest, who, by the way, has done a very awkward thing here. It's called Legacy of the Void, not Legacy of the Turduckins. What the hell? What the blip, 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 blip. Andrew Gunner, I don't think the old GG baby was that loud. I think you're over exaggerating a little bit. Anyways, yeah, Zest did something a little weird here, right? Like, he didn't immediately go into a 3rd Nexus, maybe shy from that last game where he got 2 base attacked, and totally failed miserably at defending. He really didn't have much of a chance to defend. Or maybe he was afraid just in general that the follow-up to INnoVation's... Oh my god, it actually got out of there. To INnoVation's Widow Mine drop would have been a speedy attack, and he really didn't want to lose anything to it. But either way, that 3rd Nexus is not even done yet. Kind of odd to see off of a gateway-based Legacy of the Void Protoss. And while Storm is completed, we're not talking about Storm on top of charge lots with +1 going on to +2. Armor, we're talking about still, as right now, unupgraded Zealots. Not even that many of them. Tanks are put into a really damn good position. 4 of them being able to blast away at that Nexus that, again, just finished here. Zest is pretty far down in that supply. And it looks like INnoVation is going to easily grab this 3rd game. As long as he's running into storms. That's the caveat there. The tank's going to be really great, quite great at tearing down the High Templars if they were even necessary. They weren't. They turned on Archons after using all their energy, and the GG is typed. Zest is taken out. INnoVation moves